Pakistan is always a huge troublemaking country for its neighbors. We all know that. And if you see from the past couple of years, Pakistan was actually a little quiet compared to the previous Pakistan. Why I am telling quiet is because this is the country which is always in the headlines of with any of the issues. Why the sudden silence in the Pakistan? The answer is very very simple. The Pakistan is in a major financial crisis in its history.
Pakistan is in crisis. The worst inflation in Asia, mass protests, record energy prices, and an uptick in terror attacks.
Pakistan's economy is sinking. It has no option but to seek a bailout.
Now, the economic situation in Pakistan has gone from bad to worse. Pakistan's year-on-year inflation hit a record level of 36.5%. This is the highest ever increase in nearly 60 years.
At one point, one-third of Pakistan was flooded completely. And it led to the losses and damages of $30 billion.
Things are so bad for Pakistan that they are even struggling to give the basic services to its people like electricity or fuel or the salaries for the employees. The government is drowning in a huge loans and the country almost got out of money. Just recently, the country have borrowed a whopping $7 billion from International Monetary Fund (IMF) just to keep things running.
Now, the International Monetary Fund has approved a $7 billion extended fund facility for Pakistan aimed at stabilizing the country's struggling economy.
It is very important that Pakistan sticks to the commitments under this program, meaning don't spend what you don't have, be prudent on tax collection. One of the big problems Pakistan has is very low tax to GDP.
Is Pakistan's debt sustainable?
It is sustainable, but it is a borderline sustainability.
Nadeem ul Haq worked for the International Monetary Fund for 24 years. Now, he's skeptical about the IMF's policies in Pakistan.
Pakistan is an IMF addict and IMF is a Pakistan addict. We are both locked in a death dance.
Here's where the things get interesting. In the past, Pakistan was refused in any of the terror attack involvement or any other attack involvement. Even if you remember our very recent terror attacks in 2008 Mumbai Taj Hotel attack and in 2019 Pulwama attack, we all remember our great soldiers have given their lives for us. Pakistan simply refused that the involvement in the terror attack in the 2008 Mumbai Taj Hotel, what they simply did is they just arrested Zakir Rahman, like which by telling a statement that he is the guy who funded the terror attack, and they refused the involvement in the attack. And in the second, in 2019 Pulwama attack, we all know that Pakistan is directly involved in that attack. But the Prime Minister of the Pakistan, Imran Khan, at that time, he refused the involvement of Pakistan in that attack. We are now talking about pahalgam attack. In the same way, the Prime Minister Imran Khan at that time, he was actually warned India about the military action. If India take a military action, that would be a potential war. That is what he said. And also he mentioned a statement that India is actually talking without any evidence. That is what he said in his press conference to the world. But this time, something unusual is happening. Instead of denying the attack, the involvement in the terror attack in Pahalgam, Pakistan was openly admitting that they directly involved in this. Not only that, they are even making a loud threats to India.
New Delhi has moved swiftly to present hard evidence linking Pakistan to the horrific Pahalgam terror attack that claimed 26 civilian lives earlier this week.
You do admit, sir, that Pakistan has had a long history of backing and supporting and training and funding these terrorist organizations.
Well, we have been doing this dirty work for the United States for about 3 decades, and West, including Britain.
We are just responding to what India has done in the last 24 hours, We cannot just take it lying down, We have to respond in the same manner, in the same language,
And so, from your perspective, this is still essentially diplomatic tit for tat. There's no escalation yet?
I hope not. But what it looks like that this situation can escalate. There is a possibility of escalation also. I hope not.
They want the whole world to hear this. That raises a very, very big question for me. Where this all confidence coming from? Because let's be honest, without money, nothing moves. Who is funding them? And who is standing behind them like a shadow? If we dig deeply into the Pakistan's financials, that we find that Pakistan had a whopping $139 billion of debt, and in that they owe a huge amount, $27 billion to China alone.
Historically, this gap has been filled by remittances, bailouts, and direct injections of cash from China and Saudi Arabia.
One country, one big shark, and $27 billion. That's not just a loan, that's a dependence.
Now, Pakistan and China's relationship has, of course, thickened even more when the Chinese President Xi Jinping's intention to build a modern Silk Route coincided with Pakistan's misadventures across the region and its misrule within.
Now, cash-strapped Pakistan has got much-needed financial help, this time from its all-weather friend China. Pakistan's Finance Minister Ishaq Dar said on Thursday that Beijing has rolled over a $2.4 billion loan for a 2-year period. Pakistan's forex reserves can barely cover 2 months of import bills. Dar said that Pakistan will only pay interest on the loans for the next 2 years. Earlier, Pakistan was supposed to pay the loan amount come interest by 2025.
And this brings a bigger and a very dangerous question. Is China playing a role in this pahalgam attack? Okay, let's look what happened globally. China recently lost around $500 billion of trade deficit with America. That's a massive blow for their economy. Meanwhile, India was rising fast. It's becoming a global favorite for businesses, trade, and investors. Even big companies like Apple, they were shifting from China to India.
Apple has a strategy for avoiding President Trump's steep tariffs on China, making more of its iPhones in India. A source told Reuters the tech giant is holding urgent talks with manufacturers Foxconn and Tata with the goal of producing most of its US-bound iPhones in India by the end of 2026.
Even the Vice President of America, J.D. Vance, visited India recently to strengthen the economic ties. He also spoke very positively about trade deal between India and America.
As the US Vice President J.D. Vance is in India to finalise the terms of a bilateral trade deal. Both countries are aiming to grow bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030. Yesterday, Monday, J.D. Vance addressed business leaders earlier today to share more details about the prospective bilateral trade deal between both countries.
Today, I come here with a simple message. Our administration seeks trade partners on the basis of fairness and of shared national interests. We want to build relationships with our foreign partners who respect their workers, who don't suppress their wages to boost exports, but respect the value of their labor. We want partners that are committed to working with America to build things, but we should have some common goals, and I believe here in India we do, in both economics and in national security. And that's why we're so excited. That's why I'm so excited to be here today. In India, America has a friend, and we seek to strengthen the warm bonds our great nations already share.
Now you think like a strategist. Could China be feeling cornered about this? Could they be using Pakistan as a pawn to send a message to not only India, but also America? It's a possibility we can't ignore. Because in geopolitics, when two global powers are involved, things are rarely what they seem on the surface. What's even stranger? Nobody is really talking about this. It's like a silent game being played behind the curtains. The most people were distracted to notice this, and in the end, this is completely my perspective, how I see the things. But the world, as we know, is full of hidden agendas, secret deals, and a power moves. If you're curious about all these behind the scenes stories, subscribe the channel for more real talk like this. And thank you. This is Rutvik signing off.